Hi, I'm Kirby with Augustine E-Bikes. And for the last several months, I've been traveling around the country visiting family and friends, so I haven't published any new videos on our channel in several months. I'm now back and excited to share a whole new series of videos with our YouTube audience. When I returned to Santa Cruz after several months away, I decided to treat myself to a new e-bike kit for my 29er Giant Talon. So I bought a super fast 2000 watt rear hub motor, comes with a 45 amp controller and a new 52 volt battery that I bought. My normal rides have been the 1200 watt and the 1500 watt rear hub motors, and they're great, but I really wanted to treat myself to the 2000 watt. So in this video, I will show you the unboxing of my brand new 2000 watt rear hub motor, how to install each of the components, and I'm going to take it out for my first ride. It's great to be back and I hope you enjoy. I'm really excited. I just got my new 2000 watt kit and I got my 52 volt battery about a week ago. Depending how it performs, I may just upgrade to a 60 volt or a 70 volt battery, but for now the 52 volt with 17.5 amp hours should do the trick. There she is. Let's see what's inside. Oh, look at that. I've never gotten one of these before. A free bike pump. Thank you so much. That's nice. I was thinking about getting a 3000 watt kit, but the problem is that it's almost impossible to find a kit that will fit my 135 millimeter rear dropouts. So you have to get a wider frame bike, which for me is not really what I'm looking for in my riding. Now, once you go to 3000 watt and above, you're really looking at the power of a low-end motorcycle. So your frame has to be strong enough to handle that power. Now, this kit comes with a very powerful 45 amp waterproof controller. It's a really good controller. I've worked with it before. It also comes with the LCD S830 control panel. This I may change down the road. It's a perfectly good LCD. It also comes with the standard sturdy 7-speed freewheel and also a half throttle, mechanical brakes that cut the motor, which I never use, and all the waterproof quick cable connects that you can use. So now about the throttle. It's a half twist throttle. I predominantly use twist throttles. Some people prefer thumb throttles. But as far as throttles go, I prefer the full twist throttle to the half. So I may just change that as well. So we'll see how that goes. As I said earlier, the S830s, it's a solid LCD controller and will give me control over all of the bike's core functions and works up to a maximum of 72 volts, so that's great. But I may change LCDs after some test rides. We'll see what happens. As I mentioned earlier, it comes with a 7-speed freewheel, which is extremely easy to install. It's funny, back when I used to race bikes, I always looked for the lightest components, and I would use high-end cassettes. And then once again, the brains of the operation, a really solid 45 amp controller with waterproof connections. And that's it. It looks like I'm ready to put this kit into action. So the first thing I need to do to get ready to install the kit is to prep the rear wheel. So you need to attach the disc rotor for your disc brakes. Make sure you have the right size rotor for your bike. And it should take, I don't know, roughly about 3 minutes to install. Next, you need to install your inner tube and tire. I'm running a new puncture-proof 29-inch Schwalbe Marathon Plus. I swear by this tire, it is amazing. It's the only tire I use anymore. Even though I'm running a 29-inch wheel, when ordering the kit, you want to order a 700C kit, which is the equivalent of 29 inches. Next, you want to hand tighten the freewheel onto the threaded part of the motor. Once you start riding, this will continue to tighten and you should have no problems. Now this next part is really important. Once the rear wheel is prepped, you want to install two washers on the freewheel side. The first washer makes it level, and the second provides the wheel with a gap to spin freely. So once you have the rear wheel installed on the bike, making sure that the washers are in the right place and that the wheel spins freely, you want to make sure you tighten the outer bolts securely. This kit comes with torque arms, which I usually don't use, but I'll determine if I use them after my first ride. Next, I'm going to connect the battery bracket to the frame. Most of the time, this is just attached to your water bottle screws on your down tube. And now it's time to attach the controller. I like to use zip ties and connect it to the underside of my down tube. There it's secure, out of the way. Because this kit comes with waterproof quick release cables, it's really easy to connect. First I connect the cable that goes from the controller to the LCD S830. This controls all the functions on the bike. There are arrows on the cable that make it easy to line up correctly. Now I'm going to connect the cable that runs from the controller to the motor. Make sure that it is really tightly connected. A tip about this cable, once it's connected and you zip tie the extra cable to the frame, make sure you give the cable near the motor some slack. If it's too tight, it will cut off electricity to the motor and won't run correctly, and I can tell you this, I've done this many times. Next, I'm going to mount and secure the S830 LCD and the control switch to the bike handlebars. There are a variety of ways of mounting this, but I choose to put the LCD centered on top of my handlebar stem. You pick what is most comfortable for you. Then connect the cable from the controller to the LCD. Again, make sure that this is really tight connection. Sometimes these quick connects are a little bit finicky and won't work unless you really make a complete connection. Now, once everything is connected, you have to go through about 14 steps to program the LCD for your particular bike. I will walk you through those steps in a separate video. These remaining connections are for the two brakes, which I won't be using, and then finally the throttle. Now I install the half twist throttle, and as I mentioned earlier, I might eventually install a full twist throttle. I'm not sure yet. So everything is hooked up and tested, the battery's installed and fully charged, and I've set up all the parameters on the S830 LCD, so I think it's time to go for my first test ride. Now, one of the first things I notice is how quiet this kit is. I can really only hear my rear disc brake. And it's not exactly that my other kits are loud, but this just seems particularly quiet for some reason. So today for my test, I'm going to go see how this kit can handle on the hills, a true sign of how powerful a motor is. So about 2 miles from my house is a beautiful area called Pasatiempo, which is a gated community surrounding a world-class golf course. And the neighborhood is all hills that tops off at 2,800 feet above sea level. Now I've ridden all my 1,200 kits and 1,500 kits up these hills, so I'm really looking forward to see how this compares with those. So one of the first things I noticed right away is I'm not even pedaling, something that's unthinkable in my other kits on hills this steep. Usually I have to set my pedal assist to a low setting and combine pedaling with throttling. This kit I'm not even pedaling and maybe have the throttle at about 1/3 power. This hill is insanely difficult on a regular bike, and I know because I've done it many times. And this kit is just gliding up this hill and has absolutely no sounds of stress whatsoever. Unbelievable. This kit is just eating these hills up like butter. I mean, it's absolutely effortless, and I've barely gone past a third throttle on this. But I think because it's my first ride on this kit, I'm just being a little bit cautious. I have in the past burnt out a lot of controllers before on steep hills in Santa Cruz, and given that I'm surrounded by extreme hills that even pro cyclists have a tough time with, so my first ride is going to end at the very top of this 2,800-foot ascent at my friend's house that's under construction. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm more than impressed by my first ride, and we'll be doing a lot more videos on this kit as I can see what it can do and what its capabilities are. So thanks so much.